Feeling good. Our team's 3-0, so we can't really have any complaints about that, but we're working on little things and making sure that we're staying sharp for each game that's coming our way.
What are you working on?
Just continuing to execute the plays that we've been taught to execute and just continuing to develop our speed and our different chemistry with different lines.
And so you're feeling pretty confident, undefeated so far in these games?
Yeah, I mean, whenever you're undefeated, it's definitely a little bit more confidence, but to be honest, now it's the second season and it's do or die and you gotta win every game.
You are such a role model for young women who are entering sport in general and hockey. I mean, how important do you take that role?
It's a huge honor. First off, I think we all work extremely hard and not everyone sort of gets that attention or gets to be able to give back to their communities in the way that I'm able to do that. So just using different social media platforms or visiting different communities or whatever it may be, but it's definitely an honor but also a responsibility at the same time, but it's part of the job and it's fun.
So how do you feel about the Team USA this year in these Worlds? How would you describe it?
Team USA is great. We're fun, we're fast, we're confident. We've got a lot of young talent that's just exceeding all expectations. Whenever they're on the ice, you look at them and you're like, wow, you know, I wish I was able to do that at that age. So it's a great group and we're having a lot of fun and we're obviously working hard as well.
Changing gears, where are we at in terms of the program? Where do you think the program's going in the next 5 years? Women's hockey?
Women's hockey? Well, it's an exciting time to be in women's hockey. We just launched the paid professional league and then there's the CWHL as well. So now that there's two leagues, it's a nice battle. So now college players have somewhere to go after college, and it's going to deepen the player pool, and it's also going to increase our fan platform as well. So I'd hope to see us on TV pretty soon.
What did you like about the first year of the Pro League?
First year of the Pro League was, I think the biggest takeaway is setting a benchmark, having a tangible number on what we're worth essentially, and seeing if we can access different communities and make sure people are getting out to our games and developing different platforms so people can see us if they aren't in the local area. So, and I think the bonus is just getting paid on top of it.
Could we see one league?
Sorry?
Could we see one league getting paid?
One league does get paid right now.
No, sorry, not two different leagues. Yeah, could we see it as one?
I hope so. I mean, as a player, and I know I've talked to many fans, and fans have sort of voiced their concerns to me, is, there's two leagues, and there are some great players out there, but wouldn't it be great if the great players could play it all in one league? So whoever's in charge of that, get it going, and we'll show up and we'll play and compete and do what we're supposed to do.
Is that the hard thing, not kind of being in charge?
Yeah, I think whenever you're an elite athlete, you're extremely competitive and you're kind of a control freak in certain areas. So when you don't really have full control of the reins and you can see this great product, but it can't get to the next level without other people's help, it's sometimes frustrating, especially with previous roadblocks that we've come up with. So, hopefully the right person can find a way to unite the leagues and we can all be happy.
Because it feels like you could sell Canada, US. Like, anytime you guys get together, it does great TV ratings, it does great fan interest.
Absolutely. Whenever you get the border battle going, it's a great game. And to be honest, those are the games that we live for. I mean, we come to World Championships, we're extremely excited for Monday. And Tuesday's a tough game because there aren't as many fans, there aren't as many people watching. So the energy is a little bit different. So the challenge is bringing different energy to different games.
The level of play in your league this year, what did was it different than the level you'd seen in the Canadian league?
No, it's about the same.
Yeah.
Both leagues are respectable in their own right, and one's in Canada, one's in the US, and I know the Boston team struggled in CWHL, but at the same time, it's just figuring out a way that we can maybe cross competition and play some exhibition games and really get the ball rolling.
How close to that do you think you are? Is that above your pay grade?
Well, I certainly don't get paid enough to do what we all do right now, but no. Yeah, I feel like we're close. Honestly, it's just figuring out the right leadership role in the right position, the person to come in and take the reins and really put together a structure that facilitates both sides.
Do you mentally prepare yourself differently for when you're facing the Canadians as opposed to Team Russia or Team Finland?
No, mentally I always want to be one of the best players on the ice. So every single game I'm trying to play that perfect game. Obviously it's never going to happen, but there's always things that need to be worked on. Hockey's such a dynamic sport, so really emphasizing each skill set and trying to build on each skill set as I go forward throughout the tournament. And you can say the same with all our line mates, and that's why we're a great team.
What do you think of the NHL Network picking up this tournament and broadcasting it in the United States for the first time?
Yeah, I think it's awesome that the NHL Network is broadcasting our games. It's a huge step. Obviously, it would be awesome if it could be live, but you can't choose those battles right now. So it's a great first step, and we're really excited that our fans back in the U.S. have a chance to watch us and see what a fantastic team we are and what skill level we have.
This morning, email from the league came out about all the new free agency stuff, the draft tax. I was just wondering, not that you have to give contract details by any stretch of the imagination, but has there been a conversation started between you and Boston in terms of, since every contract was 1 year, which I know is a big thing for the players, have conversations started with your team?
Yeah, so Haley Moore is an extremely respectable GM, so she understands that our focus right now is solely on our country and our commitments to our country. So we haven't had much chatter about NWHL, to be honest. I have no idea what's going on in NWHL right now. I'm just focused on here, being present, and trying to win a world championship.
You talked about some of the challenges in getting where you are today in women's hockey. What for you personally have been some of the big obstacles that you've overcome to get to where you are right now?
Yeah, I mean, growing up, women's hockey wasn't as accessible as it is now, especially girls programs, and typical bullying and, oh, you don't belong on this team, getting cut for certain teams when really I could hang with the guys and play. So there's a handful of that. There's also just people who don't want to see you succeed, and I think that's true on any aspect of different sports. It's extremely true for at the elite level. So just pushing through barriers and just finding a love in the game and continuing to have that as a motivating factor to get better and improve.
Where would you like to see things in your hockey career, in an ideal world?
Ideal world.
Paid, televised.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see our game on TV. I think it's a huge misstep that the NCAA finals weren't on television, and it's a huge misstep that we think that women's hockey needs to be live streamed. It absolutely needs to be on TV. It's ready for TV. It's a fast game. It's extremely dynamic, and there's a lot of misnomers that women's hockey isn't physical either. So you'd be surprised the fans that we'd be able to get if we had access to different viewership and different channels. So I think it's huge that TSN obviously takes the reins, and NHL Network respectively does their job in promoting our game.